Just when I thought I couldn't find my way out, yeah, I searched the God in me to find my way out. I know it can seem way out, but the Creator flows to and through me from way out. I'm talking way out, yeah, yeah, yeah. See, if you believe in the God in you, it's a better place. Creating the force and the power to live a better life. Just know that love and joy and peace is one in all of the same space. That you were chosen just like God. Can my, can my, can my your energy. That's right. How can my say? Only you can make the change. How can my share your energy? How can my shine so bright from darkness to light. Hey, 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 hey. From darkness to light. Yeah, and you'll find your way out. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it won't seem way out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The power of God will flow through you from way out.
Welcome. This is Alchemizing Energy, and I'm your host, DJ Genesis. And today we are talking about the case of James Broadnax, who was convicted in 2009 for the 2008 killings of two men, Stephen Swan and Matthew Butler, outside a music studio in Garland, Texas. Prosecutors argued that he was the shooter during a robbery. Evidence used at the trial included his own statements, which were later questioned, and even rap lyrics presented as evidence against him. However, people are saying that this could be the wrong man. He's been in jail for 17 years, and a new confession has now changed everything. March 2026, Broadnax's co-defendant and cousin, Demarius Cummings, filed a sworn statement saying he, not Broadnax, was the actual shooter. This is not a rumor. That's a legal affidavit filed in court weeks before execution. Now, he's supposed to be executed on April 30th. And in the meantime, I wanted to kind of show you guys some background on the situation here. So let's check out what people are saying.
For that, Texas death row inmate James Garfield Broadnax, who is now 37 years old, was 19 years old when he murdered two people, a crime that later got him sentenced to death. Broadnax was born in 1988. He dropped out of school in the 10th grade, and as so many others his age and in his situation do, he had turned to drugs as often as he can. His drug of preference was PCP, according to reports. Broadnax also wrote rap lyrics and kept notebooks filled with handwritten verses. And you should know that some of the lyrics that he wrote were actually used against him by prosecutors at his trial. And after killing two men in need of money for drugs, the most he and his accomplice found in the pocket of one of the two men that were murdered was $2. That's what he got, $2. They all
Wow. So I remember when I first moved to Texas, I lived in Garland, Texas. So this was very crazy to me to see, the actual news story where he was talking about it. He confessed to it. He pretty much was very cold-hearted in his news story. I mean, to see him looking in his eyes, you would think he was very convincing that he was the one who did it. He actually got on the news and said, yeah, I did it. And so what? I don't have any remorse. I don't care. Blah, blah, blah. But I wonder if he didn't have any remorse because he wasn't even the one that did it. He was covering for his cousin. And his cousin finally comes out 17 years later, right before he's about to get executed, and finally tells the truth. It's crazy. This is insane. So now what's happening is there's this whole bid trying to get him freed of the death penalty, which is about to hit on the 30th of April. He's about to be put to death, guys, for the killings of these two guys, which now they're saying that he was not the one who did it. Now, I don't know whether this is a strategic plan, that they would release this information right before his death. I think this is a crazy time to finally give a confession. I'm not sure if they talked on the phone, but this is insane. Let's go. But do you think that they're gonna just hold it up, say, hey, you were there during it, so too bad, so sad, you admitted to it. Hey, death penalty stands. Do y'all really think that they are going to carry this out and actually kill a person that was not the shooter, but the other person, the accomplice? Let's see.
Also used one of the victim's 1995 Ford Crown Victoria to get back home. Broadnax would later say that he had set out to rob because he was in need of money to get him back to his hometown of Texarkana, but it seems nobody really believed that. During the late night hours after what was now June 19th of the year 2008, Broadnax had gotten together with his cousin Demarius Cummings, who was the same age as Broadnax, 19. While at Cummings' apartment in South Dallas earlier in the evening, where Broadnax was also staying, they made plans to go rob someone of their money. Now, Cummings' mother, Broadnax's aunt, had an AK-47 rifle, but that would be too big to take with them. So Broadnax borrowed the rifle from his aunt and exchanged it with someone on the street for a smaller handgun. What? Shortly thereafter, they got on a train and they left Dallas and traveled to Garland, Texas, about 32 miles away. Broadnax would later say that the reason they chose Garland was because there are mostly rich white people in that area. Meanwhile, sometime after midnight, 28-year-old Matthew Butler and 26-year-old Stephen Swan were working late at Zion Gate Records, a music studio owned by Matthew Butler. The studio typically recorded Christian music. Stephen was a sound engineer. Matthew was described as a committed Christian, a loving husband, a father, and the beloved son of his parents. Here we see Matt standing outside his recording studio alongside his dad. When Matthew and Stephen had completed their session sometime about 1 o'clock in the morning, they left Zion Gate Records and locked up. Just outside the recording studio, they were approached by two young men, James Broadnax and Demarius Cummings. Broadnax and Cummings pretended to engage the two recording studio men with some friendly conversation. Broadnax had first asked if they had a cigarette. They then began asking questions about what kind of music they produce and other friendly chit-chat questions. But a moment came when Broadnax retrieved the handgun that he was carrying and began shooting both Matthew and Steve. After rifling through their pockets with the men down on the ground, they retrieved a total of $2 inside one of the wallets and some car keys. Broadnax and Cummings got inside of Steve's 95 Ford Crown Victoria with the wallet and the $2 and drove back to Dallas. Shortly after...
Man, that is crazy. $2. So this shows how stupid. Okay, hold on. This shows how stupid people could be when it comes to drugs. They $2. Like, they didn't make sure that they got the right people. They just saw white people. They said, okay, this is the one. Because they were coming out of the studio, they probably thought that there was some money involved. And honey, all they had in their pocket was $2 measly. Could you imagine spending about to get the death penalty over a $2 robbery? This is where and how desperate them drugs will get you. Now, I'm gonna tell you this. Until I moved to Texas, I hadn't heard of PCP except for on the movies, but I actually ran into some people that were addicted to that. And PCP, I would say, is worse than even the crack. The addiction to that is equivalent to heroin, crack, all your big drugs, And the fact that they were addicted to this drug and to show how desperate they were. First of all, to get to this studio, Garland does not have a bus system like that's really straight. The bus, especially in this area that they were at, you have to. There's no real buses like that, so you have to. They're on foot now. They took a bus all the way to Garland, And now they're on foot walking probably miles trying to find a place, trying to find someone to get down on. Okay? Because there's no buses are going all around Garland. I used to live in Garland. The fact that they were over here in this area, they were walking, just walking around trying to find somebody to get, you know? And then I guess that they must have heard some music coming out of the studio and just like lingered around there. They probably thought they were going to get somebody. And honey, lo and behold, they come in and they get people broke as I don't know what, $2, you know? But just the thought of how unorganized and how like they're just so desperate that they're just willing to just do anything. The fact that they would ride 32 miles out to Garland, walk probably a couple miles to get to this place where they think that they got some money. And who knows, they probably was somebody must have said something. I don't know why they chose this particular place to go. You know, out of all the places in Garland, there's Walmart, there's places that you probably, I don't know, but Walmart is not that rich of a place, guys. I mean, Garland, I'm sorry. Garland is not that rich. I don't know why they thought it was a bunch of rich people out in Garland. It's just regular middle class people out here in Garland, you know? So it's the whole thing is just crazy. That's just showing how drugs will have you making some stupid decisions, because that was not the move.
1 o'clock in the morning, a local riding his bicycle and going past Zion Gate Records saw the two men lying dead on the ground. And because there was a fire station nearby, he quickly went there and reported what he saw. And Garland police were notified. Once back.
And let me tell you this, ain't nobody walking around in Texas at night at 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, the whole thing is just weird. When you go to, like, listen, parts of Texas, especially like these like outskirt suburb towns in Garland, no one is hanging out at 1 o'clock in the morning like that. So it had to be they had to have known that those guys were in there, because there's no other way. People do not, one thing about Texas is after a certain time, unless it's the weekend, you're not going to see, it's not like New York where people are just walking around and hanging out. You know what I'm saying? These are like places, these are family working class places. People are asleep in their house, in their bed at 1 o'clock. So just the fact that they were at that particular place at 1 o'clock, they had to have known that those particular guys would probably be there, you know, and they probably thought they had money, and that's the only thing I could think of. And one thing that when I moved from Detroit to Dallas, we realized that we noticed after about like maybe 10, ain't nobody moving around like that. A lot of stuff is closed. Stores are closed. Gas stations closed down in certain areas. It ain't you ain't moving around at night like that. 1 o'clock. The buses aren't even going at 1 o'clock. So I'm like, well, how are they going to get back to South Dallas? You know what I'm saying? Because ain't no buses to get back. Ain't no train running at 1 o'clock in the morning. So the whole thing was they had to have known that particular place, you know, and staked it out and thought that place was going to have something. Maybe they were going to hit the place. Who knows? But the whole thing, it was crazy to me. But once again, you know, people when they're on these, having these addictions, they'll do anything. And it's pretty sad. That PCP stuff, I wish that they didn't never come out with that, because that stuff is crazy.
In Dallas, Broadnax returned the handgun to his acquaintance on the street, and he got the AK-47 back, which he then returned to his aunt once they were.
So his aunt has an AK-47. He takes the AK-47 from the aunt, trades it in with another person, gets a handgun, goes out on the bus to Garland, 30-something miles away, hits these people, get $2 out of the whole deal, come back with the gun, give it back to the drug dealer or whoever he traded it with, takes the AK-4. The whole thing is crazy. Like this 19 years old on drugs, don't know what's going on. Just doing a bunch of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And now they're in prison, and now one person's about to face the death penalty just for being stupid. Let's go.
We're back in the apartment. While there, Broadnax, with people around in the apartment, bragged about the murders and even showed some of the people there Steve's driver's license. Broadnax had also said that he was going to go sell the car. Later, Broadnax and Cummings removed the forged license plates and replaced them with plates from a Cadillac. After that, Broadnax and Cummings went to a pawn shop where they pawned some tools that was in the victim's car. They then drove to Broadnax's hometown, Texarkana. Apparently, along the way, they had also stopped to pick up an 18-year-old named Lonnie Harris. Meanwhile, a friend of Broadnax's aunt, who was in the apartment and overheard the entire conversation when Broadnax and Cummings were there, had seen news on TV about the two murders in Garland, and she picked up the phone and called Garland police and told them exactly who they need to look for. In Texarkana, a police officer ran the license plate on the Ford going past him, and he saw that those plates were registered to a Cadillac. So he did a traffic stop on the Ford. He then ran the VIN number for the vehicle and learned that the car was stolen and involved in a double homicide in Garland. All three men in the car were arrested for murder. Garland police were notified, and they went to Texarkana to pick up the three men and take them back to Garland. The third man in the car, Lonnie Harris, was later cleared when police concluded that he was not present when the crime happened. Over the following days, James Broadnax agreed to give recorded interviews to news media sources, something usually strongly advised against by defense lawyers. But he did it anyway. And he not.
Why? See, again, 19 years old on drugs. I think he might have been still high, because I'm like, why would you should have seen this news story. It was crazy. Like, where is his lawyer? Who told him to do this? Why would he even get on the news? And you should have seen, they might show a little bit of it, but oh my God, check this out.
Not only showed no remorse for what he had done, it seemed he just wanted to make himself famous for what he had done. Here is a segment of one of those interviews. I have cut out from the audio some parts when Broadnax spoke profanities.
Cuz I want to tell my story. What happened?
What happened? Why?
You know what I'm saying? Let's hop on the train. Let's go to downtown Garden. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna rob somebody. Let's go out there where the rich white folks stay at. You know what I'm saying? Rob one of them. You know what I'm saying? So we get out there and shit. Time just ticking. Like, man, you know what I'm saying? Shit, something got to go down, dog, because it's a long walk back to South Dallas. You know what I'm saying? We walking through, you know what a recording thing is, right?
See, let me tell you this. They drove out. They took a bus out there. Didn't even have bus fare to get back. They had to. If this was a mission, they had to come up with something, because they probably only had the money and probably didn't even have no money to even get out there. How did they get there? They got out there. Probably took the train, because you could kind of jump on the train and probably like dodge having to pay if you don't have a person on there. Probably broke his heck. Took the train out to Garland, walked downtown, and just doing a bunch of BS. You know what I'm saying? Just a bunch of bullshit, And look at how he's looking. It's sad. Look at how he looked. Like, he just, like, it's a no-brainer story. He don't realize how serious this is. He's 19 years old. He's hooked on drugs, and he want to be a rapper so bad and want to be famous. I guess this is what he thought he was going to be famous for. Honey, you do not want to be famous for this, sir. But let's go.
You know what I'm saying? In the bank right behind. So we walking through the parking lot. Like, man, y'all got one of y'all got a cigarette? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So shit, he went to go reach for it, pulled the pistol, shot him, shot the driver. He, like, the one I shot in first, he stumbled back, you know what I'm saying? Like, dropped, got back up like he was finna run. The one I hit second, you know what I'm saying? He raised up like he was finna do something, so I shot him in the head. You know what I'm saying? Then the other one, shit, shot him twice in the head.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So me and my cousin ran their pockets, you know what I'm saying? Got the keys, got their wallet. Hopped in the driver, hopped in the passenger side. We dipped.
Do you have any remorse? None whatsoever.
Do it look like?
So what do you think is gonna happen to you now?
Hold on. Here's the part that he said, "Do it look like it?" Watch this.
Hop in the driver, hop in the passenger side. We
Watch
dip.
this.
Do you have any remorse? None whatsoever.
Do it look like?
So what do you think is gonna happen to you now?
Hopefully the death penalty.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Why do you hope?
Can they give me life? I'm gonna kill somebody else. Straight up.
What?
I'm telling you right now.
So you want the death penalty?
They better pick one.
You know what's so stupid is that he didn't even kill the first. He didn't even kill the first. He didn't even do it. This is he. I guess he just trying to take up for his cousin. His cousin is wild, you know what I'm saying? But he's trying to take up for him so bad. He just hurried up and rushed and just took the whole blame for everything. He don't even understand. Like until he gets a little older, now you're gonna see that he changed. The changing of the tune is about to happen when that chair is fixing to come into play, or that bed, or whatever they about to do. Finally, the cousin step up. I don't know why the cousin ain't been stepped up and said, "My cousin is a little crazy and off. It was me," but it just says a lot. Let's go.
You gonna have some more bodies.
What do you think when the police caught up to you?
What I think? When they hit the lights, I said, damn. And started laughing, you know what I'm saying? Just like I'm doing now. And looked them in their face with a big smirk.
And right now, as we're talking, they're burying these two men in their funerals. Still not an ounce of sympathy, not an ounce of remorse for them or their families?
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Those news interviews that Broadnax gave did not help him with his trial or sentence when that time came. And as we know, he was sentenced to death. His cousin and partner in crime, Demarius Cummings, was also found guilty of murder, and he was sentenced to life without parole. Earlier, I spoke a little about one of the victims, Matthew Butler. The other victim in this case, Stephen Swan, known fondly as Steve, was born in Dallas in 1982. Steve was also a devoted Christian who loved to sing, played various instruments, and enjoyed recording Christian music. He and Michael were longtime friends and very much enjoyed spending time together, sharing the passion that they both enjoyed, producing Christian music at Zion Gate Records. As one family member stated in an obituary, friends and family can take some comfort in knowing that they had joined each other in heaven. Please,
yeah, shouts out to his channel.
Go ahead and hit
his channel. I think is about this, focuses on people that are getting the death penalty. I think it's called Death Row and Executions. Please support his channel. But man, this is a very, very tragic story, but here's the thing. So now what's happening is that they are trying to find justice for James Broadnax, because now, come to find out, the cousin is now saying that he's the one who did it. So let's go. Let's check this out.
He was gonna die anyway, but just to make sure. Pop, pop.
No, he had $2 in his wallet.
It's just been weighing on me. James been telling my story this whole time. I'm ready to come forward, man. I'm ready to go and tell it like it's supposed to be told, man. That it was me, that I was a killer. I shot Matthew Butler, Steve Swan, taking their lives. It's like I feel my life being snatched away. It's just been weighing on me, and I just think I need to get it out. Because it's destroying me. I feel like I should be in this place.
It took 17 years though for it to weigh on you before you finally said, until you knew that he, did you think it was gonna get overturned? Like why did he take so long to, why was it weighing on you so long though? Why did it have to wait so long for you to say something? I don't understand. This is your cousin, your blood cousin, and you allowed him to take the file and be on death row for 17 years before you finally step up and say something. This is the craziest story I've ever heard in my life. Well, now I'm glad he finally stepped up, but I don't know if his cousin is going to get any sympathy, because the way he told the story was so out cold. I don't know if they're going to believe you. You know, here we go.
Understanding your place in life and where you want to go has a lot to do with how you deal with your past. Not using it as a crutch is way stronger, than finding somebody to place the blame on. It's not a day that I haven't thought about the circumstances that led to me being on death row.
James, he's my cousin. We grew up together when we were younger. We actually grew up more like siblings.
He was a staple of the house. He always had jokes, wanted to have fun. He was goofy.
He's just really upbeat.
Big baby.
I'm the big sister, but I was always a little big sis. He'll say that. What's up, little big sis? This is me. This is James and my sister Corinne. And this is James in one of his elementary school pictures. He's definitely protective. He's definitely somebody you could depend on. If you needed somebody to be there, you could definitely depend on James to be there, for sure. He was very protective. He was, and it's so crazy because to say he was going through so much, he never really showed it.
I'm not so sure I knew about the pain, but in regards of him not having a mother around, I knew about that. I never seen Audrey with James. I never heard James talk about him.
I can probably count on one hand the amount of times that we saw her.
Around the age of maybe 2, my mom relocated us with my great aunt, who I knew as my grandmother growing up, Betty Easton, and she lived in Hope, Arkansas.
And Hope was really country, a lot of dirt. There was hardly any grass. We didn't have any toys. The only person that had any toys was my brother Aaron. Aaron was the favorite. She used to tell Aaron, those ain't even your real brothers and sisters. And she didn't like James because he was too white.
She was real rough, tough on James, due to the fact that he was biracial. She's
Man, this is sad. This is a sad story, because that mother wound, people don't even understand what happens with the mom, and how that could shape a young boy's life if the mom is not intact. So this is a real sad story, guys, so please brace yourself. We also have to talk about this, is that he's facing death penalty, so they're probably already in mourning. When a person goes to prison for life, you already go through a mourning process. I'm sure the family went through a lot, even this whole ordeal. Now that his execution date is around the corner, I'm sure that they're already experiencing a mourning process, of him. So, my heart goes out to his family. It's sad that they made these decisions at such a young age that has put him here. But yeah, let's go.
He would have to stay in his room like long periods of time, like more than a week, sometimes 2 weeks. Like the only way James would eat is if me and my brother was sneaking food out the window.
We did witness her beat James on multiple occasions.
This started between the ages of 6 and 7. It was like very abusive, verbally, physically. This one day, she slapped me across my face, grabbed me by my shirt, and just started dragging me from the street through this gravel brick yard. She takes me into the bathroom. She runs a cold bath. She poured bleach in it and made me sit in it. The wounds that were on my foot just immediately started burning. I tried to get out. She forced me in it and made me sit down in it. And it's just like, man, it was very, very painful.
Mid-June, probably 105, 106 degrees. When I pulled up in my mother's yard from work, James was sitting on the porch. He was just sweating, crying, tears and sweat. So when I went to him, walked up on the porch, I said, James, what's wrong? He said, his big mama. He said, big mama won't even let me in the house to get anything to drink. So imagine being in a place where you're not accepted to begin with. And not only not being accepted, but you're also not loved. Where you feel like the love should come from, you don't have love there. You don't have love anywhere. And you're just existing.
Later on, and come to find out that his brother was molesting him, he told my big mama about it. He was showing her that he had blood in his underwear. And she was upset about it because James's older brother could do no wrong in her eyes. He was like the golden child.
He was so hurt. He was so broken. He didn't have a mama that cared. He never knew his dad. His grandmother hated him. His own brother molested him. People that's supposed to protect you, provide for you, guide you, into the right path. He never had that.
Every day was a day to a wish never born. But you see, sometimes it takes pain to make the brain a little smarter. I was traded the chance of being a child with the father for a talent of being able to survive when it's hard. Through a flame, the frame of time watches uncertainty. I dealt with depression throughout the younger years of my life, going into my teenage years, feeling lonely and like an outcast and just completely disconnected from everything. When I would get high, allows me to get away from everything. That's how it started until it became an addiction. So it's like a lot of those little things built up into a bigger problem of how am I going to survive? I was 18, 19, unstable, chaos, trouble, just in the streets. I didn't have a job. Same thing with my cousin. He didn't have a job. We're basically drinking and drug using, smoking weed laced with PCP. Eventually led up into the bigger conversation of let's rob somebody. It happened so fast. A gun got pulled. This wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't the plan. But now it's like it's done before I could even say anything.
I think I was at home and my cousin, Kermit, called me. James is in prison for what?
Matthew Butler and Stephen Swan. The two were found shot to death outside of the Zion Gate record studio. The young men accused of killing Butler and Swan are talking.
Let me get you to go ahead and tell us your first and last name.
James Broadnax.
What's your last name, James?
Broadnax.
All right, James, and you're 19?
Yep.
Okay.
During the trial, we did see the video, and that jailhouse interview that he gave was unbelievable.
You killed 2 young men now.
Better their life than mine.
Wow.
Do you have any remorse?
Broke my heart. And I also said to myself, even if I watched it today, I'm like, that's not my brother. His demeanor, just the way he was describing everything.
You know, stuff he was saying and doing, it looked like him and it sound like him. I'm like, bro, this is like, it's somebody else inside this guy.
Nah, I pulled the trigger. He was just there.
I didn't kill nobody. I didn't kill her husband or whatever.
We was right next to each other. We was talking to each other. Like, look, bro, we gonna have to tell them that you did it. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that you did it because you ain't got no criminal history. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I've been down already. They gonna hang me, bro. If I come forth and I tell them I did this, you know, I'm down for you, bro. I ain't tripping. I'm gonna hold you down, bro. I got you. See, James, the type of person, if he fuck with you, he loyal, you know what I'm saying? He down.
James admitted to doing it because that goes back to James being loyal and trying to solidify some kind of family connection that he was lacking.
Wow.
He's that person that protects his family member, taking the blame.
I just look at James in that video and I wonder who he really is. I think that maybe there is someone else under that disguise.
Can you tell me about your past that make you feel like you do now about life?
Look me in my eyes and tell me what you see. You got nothing to live for?
Why you say that, man?
Because I don't.
Before the incident happened, James tried to commit suicide and it failed through. Was this an opportunity for him to have somebody to do it for him than rather him do it himself?
You know you're probably looking at capital murder.
Yeah, 2 counts. I don't want life.
You don't want life.
Pick one.
Sometimes when you can't do it yourself, you would rather have somebody else do it for you.
If they don't, I will.
Because you can't do it alone.
Wow.
I was once told to cry to cleanse the soul. I had to pick mine as 50 because I never let it flow. Contemplating so many holes that you refuse to let it go. As in this pistol I load, rising up on my tiptoes. In a chair to tighten the grip of a rope across my throat. A suicidal method to release me from the cold. The way I was acting, this callous demeanor, is true and completely false at the same time. The feeling of what I was projecting, it was very much real. I didn't care about my life. Whatever happens, happens. I'm okay with dying because I don't want to live anyway. However, what I'm confessing to is completely false. You know, if I could say anything to the family of Matthew Butler and Stephen Swan, I would just want to give my deepest, sincerest apologies. The events and circumstances that led to their brother, their son, their nephew, you know, losing their life, I wish it would have never happened. And if I could take it back, I would. Even committing to the fact of wanting to rob somebody, I shouldn't even did that. I wish I could show them my soul so they could see just how sorry I am sorry. I am very much remorseful for everything that happened.
I met James in 2017, and there was something about him at the first time that we met. Such a gentleman. I asked him what did he believe. He didn't really know God at the time, but he said he was spiritual. And so every time I would go, we'd pray.
The biggest turning point in my life was when I made the decision to surrender to God and His will for my life.
James had to learn how to love himself. He had to learn to love God. He has faith because now he knows that he's not alone.
James and I met in October 2024. I had started my Human Rights International Master's degree after finishing law school. I decided that I wanted to do a paper on racial disparities and the death penalty in Texas. You are my blood bonded together in time through the blessing of what we are. You are soulful healing to my wounds that are in your hands. I took the risk, and it's the best risk I've ever taken.
She is absolutely my best friend. Anything I could ever ask for in a life partner. That love, and I never had that before. Knowing that it's possible, knowing that it can be realized, that it can be true for you, and everybody, I feel like is deserving of that, right? It changes everything.
When I was 16 years old, we talked in school about death penalty, and I wanted to kind of do something good and reached out to him through a platform. We've been writing for those 15 years like a brother to me. Through these last years, he became more thoughtful about things. He would tell me a lot about the courses that he took or books that he read, and it had a lot to do with personal development. Always wanted to broaden his mind.
One of the very first conversations we had, he was like, so, what you know about existentialism? And I was like, X or what? Like I had never even heard the word before. Once he broke it down and we started having that conversation, it really showed me like, okay, this dude is more than what meets the eye.
He was very respectful. He wanted just to have a friendship with me. Each time I receive a letter, I can say I love him a bit more. Before judging, we have to know a person, discover his soul.
I was still convicted and rooted in the fact that I want to change, learn the behavior, and abuse turned me into mentality-wise. I do not want to be that same person going forward. If you can change your mindset, you can effectively change your life.
I just visited with James. He was so kind and sweet and calm. I was so surprised and taken back at how intelligent he's become. I learned the answer to my question, and there's definitely a different person behind that disguise. During the time he served, he became who he was supposed to be.
The lessons that I've learned, the wisdom that I've gained, a lot of that is what goes into me being passionate about pouring into other guys around me.
He wants to serve people. He wants to mentor people.
He wanted to reach out to help younger people, trying to prevent them going the same way as him.
Working to coming up with a program or some type of curriculum to share with everybody else. But also using that same tool and those resources to be able to create initiatives, again, to bring other people up that maybe grew up in a similar situation, to be able to open up programs and initiatives that help them find their footing, to give them direction and to build that character that's seen as worthy of being a productive member of society. I have a very big vision that it's well beyond me.
Who better than the person who have made a mistake to talk to those individuals?
And if you can come out of your darkness and bring some light and love into our young people, you've done your part.
Once upon a time, my vision towards life intended for me not to make it, but I'm here, allowing you to glimpse a part of me that I fear. What was has always been. You only seem to appear. It was a time to realize children only shed pure tears. Finally, I found me.
life will never be the same again for me. How would I react that day? I don't know. All I know is that I've lost my best friend. I've lost my best friend.
I feel that surely there's a case for his death sentence to be removed. How can you execute a man with new evidence like this?
It was hard to convince people, but all this time, why now? Just waiting to come forward. But for me, I'm not trying to convince them. I'm just telling them like it is. This is what happened. Now, y'all choose to accept it or not. But the truth of the matter is, I was a shooter. And if they kill bro, they'll be making a mistake. A real big mistake.
So you're going to take a James, whom God loves, and you want to kill him for something he didn't even do.
No matter past pain, trauma, and all of that, it's no excuse. I want to change it in any way that I can. I wish to make it right. Just really hoping and wishing and praying that they could find it in their heart to forgive me.
Wow, that's powerful and sad and everything all at the same time. So he is set to be executed on April 30th. This is a sad story, child. You guys, I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna stand a chance. I think that this confession might have come too late in the game. I think it's something that the family members are kind of like getting involved and talking to him. Maybe there's something they can do to petition, but I don't know if he's going to stand a chance. So let's go.
Broadnax is scheduled to be executed in Texas on April 30th. The 37-year-old is on death row after being convicted of capital murder in 2008. James has filed several appeals, one after another man confessed to the crime, one stating prosecutors prevented Black jurors from participating in his trial, and another for using his rap lyrics as evidence against him. Here's what's unfolded as I've reported on his case for the Dallas Morning News. Let's start from the beginning. In June 2008, James and his cousin, Demarius Cummings, who were both 19 at the time, robbed two men outside a music studio in Garland, a city in Dallas County. They left with very little, only $2 in a 1995 Ford, and in the process, killed both Stephen Swan and Matthew Butler, who were producers at the studio. James immediately confessed to the killings in jail interviews. He said he did it without hesitation and didn't care about the punishment. He said at the time that he believed he had nothing to live for. At separate trials in 2009, James was sentenced to death, while Demarius was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But here's where the story took a surprising turn. This March, Demarius signed a written confession stating it was him who shot Matthew and Stephen, not James. Demarius said he convinced his cousin to take the blame, assuming James wouldn't get the death penalty because he only had a marijuana charge on his record, while Demarius had been convicted of more serious crimes. It's easy to see this as a Hail Mary to save his cousin's life, but court documents have long stated that James's DNA was never found on the murder weapon or the victims, while Demarius's DNA was found on both. But a couple weeks ago, the Court of Criminal Appeals said they would not intervene in James's case. They argued it was not enough for Demarius to take responsibility for the shooting when James had never recanted the confessions he made in jail. James still has an appeal with the United States Supreme Court, but that one covers an entirely different issue. James is arguing that his constitutional rights were violated during his trial when prosecutors used his rap lyrics as evidence he poses a danger to the public. Stay up to date on these and other stories from death row at dallasnews.com.
So it's appearing that he is still going to be executed based on that information that we just heard right there. When he does go before the Supreme Court, he's going to be arguing something that they might not even want to care about, you know. about his rap lyrics. You know, that's gonna be not a strong enough thing. I don't know why the new evidence, the new confession might not stand up at all. They said they wouldn't hear it, so it looks like he's gonna be executed. So listen, guys, put your comments down in the comments. Do you think that he should still get the death penalty? Considering that there's a new confession from his cousin that just came last month. Do you think that they should re-look at the case? What do you think? What are your thoughts? In the meantime, thank you guys for watching. And this is DJ Genesis signing off. Peace.
Just when I thought I couldn't find my way out, yeah, I searched the God in me to find my way out. I know it can seem way out, but the Creator flows to and through me from way out. I'm talking way out, yeah. See, if you believe in the God in you, it's a better place.